Hey guys, it's Steve Lamothe, the founder at Elevate Realty Group, and today we're talking about an entirely different topic, something I'm so passionate about. It's been a lot of market updates, doom and gloom. If you're watching the news and looking at the headlines, stop. The market is still consistently moving. It's still a solid market compared to what it was before COVID. So let's just talk about some great news. Today I want to talk about the value of building wealth through real estate. I'm really passionate about this at Elevate. It's one of our mission statements, is really educating people on the value of homeownership and the purpose that it has in building wealth through forced savings, principal buy down, and the continuous appreciation of real estate over the long term. Now, when it comes to real estate investing or investing in general, the speed at which you start investing is massive. When you start looking at something called compound interest, just like your 401k, home ownership works in the same exact way. The faster you get in and start building up equity, buying your first home, the more wealth you're gonna build over time, and the faster you acquire more property. So you buy your first property, then you buy a rental property, then you buy a rental for your baby, and they can pay that off over time. The more, let's call it equity you build over time, the more net worth you will have as you age out and as you get towards retirement. Equity creation and wealth through real estate is one of the greatest assets or asset classes really of all time. And the key differentiator is the 30-year fixed mortgage. It allows you to leverage other people's money, the banks, and get a relatively low interest rate on a 30-year term and lock your housing costs. It's extremely important to understand when you buy a home, you secure your monthly housing costs. And even if it's more than renting, it's forced savings. A portion of that is going to come back to you in the form of equity. Why throw away all your money on rent if you can start building equity over time? So there's three key things when it comes to home ownership and owning real estate that add to your wealth equation. Number one, forced savings. Every time you make a payment, money comes back to you and you start building equity. Now, you pay a lot in interest to get that, but each time you make a payment, you get money in return. Number two, equity appreciation. Over the long term, housing is not speculative, right? Meaning you don't gamble, you don't invest. Your home, your first home is an investment, yes, but in reality, it's your housing, right? It's where you live, it's where you build memories, it is the core of your family, and honestly, it's your entry into the middle class. So number two is equity appreciation. Number three, tax benefits. You can deduct your interest, and that adds some forced savings on there of the long term over a year of ownership. Now we can get complex and start talking about real estate investing, which I'm very passionate about, and there's some massive tax savings when you start investing in real estate, but you need to buy your first home first. I also recommend when you have a baby, save up money and try to buy a rental property when you have your first child. If you do this and you start building up equity in that property, say you put 20% down, in 18 years when your child is ready to go off to school, that home is likely going to be nearly paid off, and it will have a 60-70% equity position by which you can refinance and pull out cash and literally cash flow your college. When you refinance, you don't pay any tax. That's the beauty of building assets and then refining to pull out money. That's how the wealthy pay no tax. They pull money out of assets and then allow the renter to continue to pay this off. So those are the three keys of homeownership. Let me share a crazy stat with you. I just came back from Austin for our company convention. If you had invested over the last decade, if you had invested in the stock market, the same as a down payment on a home, the median priced home 10 years ago, and your investment got a 10% return over 10 years, you would have around $126,000 in your investment account. If you bought a home with the same down payment over the last 10 years, you would have somewhere around $210,000 in net equity, almost double that if you had a 10% return in the stock market. And I don't know about you, most people's 401ks don't average over 30 years a 10% return. This is my message to you. Go out and build wealth through real estate. If you already own a home, get to the point at which you save money and buy your second home, a rental property, then buy a third, then buy a fourth. If you ever want to talk about this, reach out at 916-436-SELL or visit homesbyelevate.com for more educational content.